Tomas, what the heck have we got here?
We have SummerSlam 2022, a show that went from just being there to being one of the most anticipated shows of the year because, in the great words of Big E, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Out with Vince McMahon, in with Triple H.
Thank the ever-loving Lord. I mean, can I address this real quick? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have people asking me my thoughts on it. Mad respect to Vince McMahon for building this gigantic empire. Like, he basically was the big source of a lot of memories for our childhoods. But after what he did and the source of his retirement, I have no sympathy for him. And he was very slowly starting to lose his freaking marbles creatively. So the fact that Triple H has come in and kind of taken charge of it now, his wife is handling the business side along with Nick Khan. Triple H, former pro wrestler himself, is dealing with the main booking here on this show. It's magical. Absolutely magical. And
it is absolutely magical. And for sure, this show started showing little inklings of what we could be looking forward in the WWE. But to quote Solomonster, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't expect to be changes. No. I don't expect everything to be changed like that in WWE. It's going to be a process. There's still going to be things that we don't like. But I think gone are the days of just absolutely repetitive, nonsensical writing, repetitive storylines, or wrestlers that should not be sitting on their ass doing nothing, doing that. And there's going to be a lot of I feel like just fresh. Everything's going to be fresh. It's going to be nice.
I mean, there's
very, very nice.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple of matches on this show that bookend it. They do feel repetitive, but at the same time, they kind of make them feel fresh in their own ways, while also throwing little subtle jabs at the fact that they're so repetitive throughout the show, which I really loved. And tractors!
We're going to save that to the end. But just
SummerSlam spoilers without context. Yeah, and I'll let Tomas make the joke when we get to the main event. But, oh boy, what do we have first?
Before we get into this match, we are recording this on Monday night. I do want to make reference to Ric Flair's last match that took place last night in Nashville as well. I did watch that pay-per-view. I was so a little skeptical. I don't know. This was a last-minute decision. I decided to order this pay-per-view, I want to say, 20 minutes into the show. I just decided on a whim to buy it because the undercard looked pretty good. We had the Impact World title on the line. We had the Knockouts title on the line. We had New Japan representation. We had MLW representation. We had AAA representation. This show was just a nice melting pot of so many promotions, so much talent under the Jim Crockett Promotions for one night only. And I just wanted to watch some good wrestling. I mean, there was some great wrestling on this show too, but the main event, to quote my friend, I think it's best to say it was sad, entertaining, and just fascinating all at the same time. Ric Flair is in his mid-70s, and he is wrestling his last match. I'm on the boat with everybody else. His last match was at WrestleMania 2008 when he had that match with Shawn Michaels. I don't ever agree with Flair ever getting back into the ring. And after watching this match, please, Flair, for the love of God and your family and all of your fans, this has to be it because he didn't look good.
All I can say is I hope he got some closure. And he should be sending Jeff Jarrett a Christmas card every year for every night that he's alive from this point forward.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Jeff Jarrett was the unsung hero of that match. He was doing some of the best heel work of his career. Jay Lethal and Andrade were there to do the heavy lifting. Still, the match went in a way that I wouldn't have booked it, but hopefully, like you said, I hope Ric Flair has closure. He said it himself. All of his friends were there. All of his family, all of his daughters and sons, and all grandchildren except one were there. And I really hope this was the last match he wanted because I don't want any more.
He had Brett there. He had Mick Foley there. He had The Undertaker there. Michelle McCool accompanied The Undertaker to the proceedings, and of course, sitting behind
DDP was there.
Sitting behind Michelle McCool, mind you, DDP is still stalking The Undertaker's wife 20 years later.
To this day, the timing is impeccable. But yeah, I just wanted to make note of that. It was still a magical moment to witness, but for the love of God. And if you're not interested, here's the thing. I encourage everyone to see this match because it's a sight to be. It's a sight, but also, like I said, there was a lot of representation on the show. Fantastic four-way AAA match with Ray Fenix picking up the win. Just a lot of, if you want to see some good independent talent, go watch the show. There's some good representation. Killer Cross was on the show. Josh Alexander was on the show. Jacob Fatu was on the show. The Von Erichs were on the show. The Briscoes were on the show. Fun weekend of wrestling.
Made me happy to see the Von Erichs were listed on the card wrestling the Briscoes, but I honestly have no interest in the pay-per-view personally, just because I just don't want to watch the main event. But I don't want to ruin what made WrestleMania 24 so magical for me. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. But
yeah, here we are.
Yeah, Stadium Show. Yeah. SummerSlam 2022. It was giving us serious WrestleMania 31 vibes towards the start of the show because the sun had not completely set when the fireworks went off, quote unquote. I don't think there were fireworks at the start of this show, but irregardless,
there were some stadium fireworks that we'll get into later in the show. But no, this was a nice simple setup. It was all like last year. Not really much of a stage, but a very long tunnel, very reminiscent of WrestleMania 19. I'm a big fan of that setup. I really like SummerSlam being in these big stadium shows. It gives them a nice big feel. And we kicked this show off with a banger.
Nissan Stadium, by the way, in Nashville, where the Tennessee Titans play, and they'll probably have a bad record this year. I don't know, but yeah. In any case, we start off with Tennessee's own Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's title against Becky Lynch, who comes out with a botched fucking satellite on her head. I know satellites. And that's not how one's built. I don't know what Becky Lynch was wearing, but...
Well, like I said, she stole her power. She was charging herself up on the way to the ring. She needed the energy of the Tennessee sun.
What are you talking about? She had straight fire gear. Couldn't she just get the energy from that?
Oh, man. But this was, these two ladies produced magic at WrestleMania this past year in Dallas.
They sure did.
I feel like the psychology of this match was excellent to the point where they were really trying to one-up each other. And they were trying to one-up themselves from the match they had early on in the year. Now, let me get this out of the way right now. I still prefer the WrestleMania match over than this.
Me too.
I had a lot of fun with this match.
It was a really hot opener. They gave it all they had. And you know what? It has been confirmed that Becky Lynch, early on in the match, I believe when they were fighting on the outside, she did separate her shoulder, so she is injured, unfortunately, which sucks. The injury bug is running rampant through the industry right now. CM Punk, Bryan Danielson was on the shelf for a while. Adam Cole still injured with a gigantic concussion and a torn labrum.
To go back to Flair's last match real quick, there was a three-way for the Knockouts title with Rachel Ellering, Deonna Purrazzo, and Jordynne Grace. And 30 seconds into the match, Rachel Ellering rolled her ankle. Yep. Thankfully, she was able to get herself back into it, but I don't know what the wrestling gods have against pro wrestling right now, but there is a lot of unfortunate injuries going on right now.
It feels like every 6 years, there's a really nasty injury bug that goes around the industry. So, I'm dreading the year 2028 when the industry gets hit by this injury bug again. But Bianca Belair, humongous pop. She comes out not dressed in Tennessee Volunteer colors, but instead in Kentucky Wildcat colors, which is an interesting choice. But she is the hometown hero. If Vince McMahon were booking the show, Becky Lynch would have gone over. But no, they worked a very solid 15-minute match with a lot of really interesting spots. Becky Lynch with a nice draping leg drop over the barricade. Really nice.
Yeah. You talk about brawling on the outside. Bianca Belair early on in the match hits the kiss of death on the barricade, which I've never seen before. I thought that was a fun, innovative move. You talk about Becky Lynch's leg drop. She goes to the leg drop, and Belair counters into a beautiful slingshot powerbomb. That was one of my favorite spots of the match.
Oh, yeah. It was, just such great reversal wrestling and counter wrestling throughout this. Corey Graves refers to one Becky Lynch maneuver as a diamond dust, which is interesting. You also, you got your head scissors, KOD on the floor. The ref counts them out. It doesn't count them out completely. It's it's a very close, almost old school WWE finish. There's some great counters from the KOD into the manhandle slam, which was an awesome awesome false finish there.
Belair kicks out of the manhandle slam, which makes her look very strong in this.
Which is kind of a callback to SummerSlam last year, because you remember Becky beat her with the manhandle slam in 26 seconds.
Yeah. You talk about if Triple H booked this match versus Vince McMahon booking the match. If Vince would have booked this match, you know what would have happened? They would have teased that spot from last year, and Lynch would have hit the manhandle slam right off the bat to a close 2 count. I'm glad they didn't do that. It made the match all that more unpredictable.
Oh, yeah. And you kind of do get the predictable finish with Belair hitting another kiss of death after a beautiful Spanish fly off the second rope. Spanish fly into a KOD. Belair pins her clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, to put a definitive end to this feud, finally. How do I know that? Because Becky Lynch extends her hand for the handshake, and I'm like, yes.
That is such a full circle moment for this feud, and I know WWE gets a lot of slack for their lack of long-term booking, but to think that this started off at last year's SummerSlam with Becky Lynch pinning Bianca Belair in 26 seconds to that unfortunate mishandling booking match at Extreme Rules to WrestleMania and Bianca Belair beating Becky Lynch for the women's title, which I'm really glad they put Belair over in that Elimination Chamber match. I remember when that match happened, I was scared it was going to be Alexa Bliss. But Belair defeating Lynch in such an amazing match at WrestleMania. Belair able to get back to the point where she made it to last year with the SmackDown Women's title, just to finally just defeat that demon in Becky Lynch. And then it all comes full circle with the handshake. It's just, wow, just amazing.
The handshake and the hug. It's something I've been begging for pretty much an entire calendar year now. Becky Lynch being a heel was not a good business move, ever. Becky Lynch was so popular. Yeah, it was fun. Becky Lynch made the most of it, for sure. And she had these outlandish attires and broken satellites on her head and what have you. It was fun to watch her come out in these ridiculous get-ups that her husband probably inspired.
And one thing that I do appreciate, I know they were trying to turn her heel in 2018, but that's when the whole man thing started, and she was basically female Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to appreciate them actually letting her run for it for a year just to see what she can do. And I think she knocked it out of the park.
She is literally the female Stone Cold Steve Austin, and nobody can prove me wrong on that one. But yeah, they did.
But we have more. We have more after this match.
We do. And honestly, like the handshake, I was satisfied with that. Belair starts to celebrate, and then my hometown homie Bayley comes out, makes her big return after being on the shelf for over a year with a torn ACL. And the crowd reacts in kind. Bayley's a big star. Finally bringing her back into the fold. Bayley looks like she's going to have a whole conversation from the ramp with Bianca Belair, which would have been fun. In and of itself. But who comes out, Tomas? Who comes out to help her?
We get the returning Dakota Kai. And the minute I see her come out, I just think, and I said it out loud, Triple H's magic is working already. As you know, there have been a mass amount of layoffs the past couple of years in between the pandemic and just Nick Khan and Vince McMahon making some terrible business decisions. Dakota Kai was one of those victims of, being on the chopping block. Triple H worked his magic. Dakota Kai was not signed to any other contracts at the time. I don't know if she was still under her 90-day no-compete clause, but Triple H found that window of opportunity that, I'm sure Triple H has made a lot of phone calls this past week. And he reached out to Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai is back now. And
all the better for it.
The best way to describe this is, imagine almost dropping your cell phone over the Golden Gate Bridge, and you were just able at the last second to snatch it from falling off. And I think that's what Triple H did with Dakota Kai.
Oh, yeah. Dakota Kai is
and they got her back.
She's an absolute gem, and she deserves the world. I'm so happy to see her back where she belongs. But here's the thing. When Dakota Kai came out, I would have been completely satisfied with that. But no, that's not it. Because apparently, if you're returning like Bayley and you bring in a new person into the fold, like chances are they would be a heater. You know what I mean? Raquel Rodriguez, a Shayna Baszler type. Dakota Kai certainly is not that body build, but I was thinking, is there one more? Are they going to make this a trio? Sure enough, Io Shirai's music hits, and now she's known as Io Sky on the main roster, which, You know, it's a name I'm gonna have to get used to. It's not the worst name change I've ever heard, but they still kept her presentation perfect. They still kept her music absolutely great. And the three charge the ring, look like they're about to attack Bianca. Becky comes to her aid, and there's a standoff.
I really enjoyed, because when Bayley's music hit, Bianca Belair looked a little too happy to see her, just like she was happy to see Becky Lynch last year.
Right.
And then when Dakota Kai came out, that smile kind of turned into a frown.
No, Bianca was... No. Bianca was marking out for Dakota Kai. She was so excited to see her.
But when it was so weird. Came out, that's when the earrings started to come out, and that's when Belair realized they're not here to congratulate her. They're here to kick her ass. Yeah.
If you remember, Bayley was supposed to wrestle Bianca in an I Quit match a year ago. They were in the middle of a hot rivalry, and it had to be cut short.
They were picking it up right where it left off. This is just the magic of Triple H.
Yep.
And now we have a babyface Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch staring down the new heel stable of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
And it's great. It's great setup for Bayley. It's great setup for Bayley, because I think she should be the one to take the title from Bianca, and she's setting herself up for the future. With Io Sky and Dakota Kai there, they're gonna turn babyface eventually.
Yeah, and we're gonna be saying this a lot. Vince McMahon versus Triple H. And a Vince McMahon. Okay, by the way, Vince McMahon was presented this idea for the Bayley heel stable. He shot it down.
What a fucking loser, right? He doesn't like us having fun.
If Vince was booking this angle, you know what would happen? He would immediately book Bianca Belair versus Bayley for Clash of the Castle, and it would go to a disqualification finish, or Belair would have flat out beat her, killing any sort of momentum. Io Sky and Dakota Kai would be beat on singles matches on Raw, and the group would lose all of its credibility by Clash.
They certainly could. But honestly, I don't really see that happening. I see this feud continuing past the Clash. Bianca probably loses the Raw Women's title at one of the next couple of pay-per-views to Bayley without having to pin Bianca, but...
you really want to stretch this shit out? We still have Rhea Ripley that never got a title shot. You could easily put out Bianca Belair. No, hold on. I'm not saying Rhea Ripley beats her. Rhea Ripley gets her title shot. You could easily book pay-per-view matches with Io Sky, with Dakota Kai, and Bianca Belair has to beat them, retain her title against them, and you could hold off Bayley till the end of the year, honestly. You could hold off Bayley to the Royal Rumble if you wanted to.
You could. The Raw Women's division is stacked, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't think that Rhea Ripley is really factoring into this at all, because she's got Judgment Day bullshit to deal with right now. So
yeah, I'm just saying, because she never got her title shot that she was supposed to have last month.
Yeah, she was injured. So I mean, the possibilities are wide open, which is honestly great. It's a wide open Raw Women's division.
Plethora of opponents for Bianca Belair now, and that's what we needed.
A plethora of great matches ahead of her. I mean, there's still Asuka waiting in the wings. There's Alexa Bliss. I mean, there's a lot of people on Raw. But in my eyes, Bianca and Becky had a great rivalry. This is a great way to cap it off. 4 stars. Don't think it was as good as WrestleMania, but it's certainly the second strongest match of their pay-per-view outings.
The match itself, I give 3 3/4, but with the returns at the end, bump that shit up to a 4.
Oh, so the returns were 2 thumbs up. I can't really rate those on a 5-star scale, but altogether, 2 thumbs up. Great opening. Off to a great start.
Is a match. Wow, let's get into this now. It's The Miz going one-on-one with Logan Paul. And right off the bat, you already know, we don't like Logan Paul. He's a piece of shit.
Who does?
He's a despicable human being. I am not a fan of his YouTube channel. I am not a fan of all the ridiculous and evil shit this man has done over the past few years. But for some reason, he has found his way into the WWE. He has signed a full-time contract. And here he was going one-on-one with the veteran of veterans, The Miz.
Let me say that was such a Vince McMahon move, by the way, to sign Logan Paul. Like, he doesn't like us having fun.
Talk about, you're going to like this reference. Talk about being Gaston and sticking the dagger into the beast before you fall into your death. That was Vince McMahon's last move. If the beast is Triple H, then that dagger was Logan Paul right before he fell to his death.
And that means that Gaston is Vince McMahon, and I don't like that at all. I really don't like that at all. But in any case, Logan Paul, otherwise known as Abortion, is facing The Miz. This is all built around their WrestleMania 38 falling out when The Miz became the top babyface in the promotion by giving him a skull-crushing finale after their tag team match. They're finally blowing that off here, and look, objectively, I also was praising Logan Paul in ring during the Mania podcast, much to Tomas's chagrin. I thought he was a better worker than The Miz in that match because even though he's a terrible person, he looks like a professional wrestler, dude. The stuff he was doing in the ring and the poses he was pulling and the moves he was doing, like...
Yeah, this was Logan Paul's first one-on-one match, and I'm not going to lie, I was really not interested in this match. The Miz made his way to the ring with his wife, Maurice, and his new buddy, Ciampa, which I think is a very interesting pairing. Ciampa's out there. He's got the Miz's gear on. He's giving him applause like he would usually do to himself and patting himself on the back.
Yes. Usually, such a great touch.
But I think this is such an interesting pairing of Miz and Ciampa.
It's
that,
so,
dare I say, I kind of like it.
It's so random. Like, you can, like, with Triple H at the helm, you can tell that, like, he's just ready to split up Tommaso Ciampa and just give him a singles run for himself.
Ciampa's role in this match, I didn't hate.
I didn't hate it either. It was really fun because he was, like, trying to run interference, and the referee does eject him later on in the match when he catches Tommaso Ciampa.
The Miz, Ciampa being the Miz's heater is kind of cool, dare I say?
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, but you know, I can't help but have a soft spot for the NXT Tommaso Ciampa that would come out to no music except for the boos of the crowd after turning on Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, the Miz comes out with a custom Pokemon card, which I thought was fucking hilarious, of him giving Logan Paul the skull crushing finale.
And his gear. His gear. Can we talk about his gear for a second? It has a whole bunch of like emojis on the back of the tights, and then on the front of it, it says, "Hello, my balls are massive." Because the joke is, The Miz has tiny balls, and everybody across the country has started to chant tiny balls at The Miz, and he gets very frustrated.
Believe it or not, The Miz's balls apparently has been something AJ Styles and The Miz have been trying to get on TV for years.
What? No way.
Very strange. Yep. Apparently, it's an inside joke, and they've been trying to get this angle over for years.
Oh, God. Again.
So it's not a Vince thing. Apparently, Styles and The Miz wanted this to happen.
So Styles is in on the joke, then?
Yes, he is.
Oh, geez. Which makes it all the funnier. He's in all the funnier, honestly.
Which explains why he started it.
Yep. That's very true. That's very true.
Fuck. I'm going to be the first one to say it. This match was excellent.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go as far as excellent. I mean, we're still kind of like, I mean, you know how when a celebrity comes in like a Stephen Amell or a Pat McAfee, which we'll talk about later, we kind of grade them on a curve. And we're kind of blown away by their skills in the first couple of matches they have. But I feel like once they start having more matches, and I feel like this is going to happen with Logan Paul, it's not going to be the same. I mean, I feel like...
I will agree. But 6 months ago, I was singing a different tune. I was refusing to give this man credit. But I am going to give Logan Paul credit during this match. His offense was very crisp. It was smooth. He was hitting everything on every angle. Mind you, he's working with The Miz, one of the best and safest workers in the business. If there was anyone that was going to basically take care of Logan Paul, it was The Miz. We were making jokes during this match. If he was in there with Ciampa, Ciampa would spike him. If he was in there
Ciampa
with
would have fucking killed him with that Willow's bell.
If he was in the ring with Lashley would have broke his neck. If he was in the ring with Roman Reigns, he would have split him in half.
Yeah.
But put him in there with a safe worker like The Miz, and The Miz made him look like $1 million.
You put him in a match with a coward in the wrestling ring like The Miz. That's what you got to do.
You put him in the ring with Danielson. Danielson would have kicked his fucking head.
Yeah, and the crowd would have freaking ate that shit up. But the crowd in Nashville was really eating this match up for sure. And the story that the commentators were telling is that Logan Paul is pulling out some really crisp wrestling. Someone must have been giving him some training. And lo and behold, when Tommaso Ciampa is ejected, he refuses to leave, takes a steel chair. It was so funny. Takes a steel chair, just sits at ringside, and he's like, "I'm not going anywhere." AJ Styles' music hits, and Tommaso's looking up the entryway, and Styles out of nowhere, out of frame, comes in with a phenomenal forearm. It was a really cool spot. Didn't exactly get all the phenomenal forearm, but he evens the odds, chases Tommaso Ciampa out of the arena, and then Logan Paul hits a really clumsy-looking phenomenal forearm, which the story being, AJ Styles was training Logan Paul to go ahead and beat The Miz to embarrass him even further.
Which, again, I didn't hate that plot point. Yeah, Logan's phenomenal forearm wasn't all, he didn't get all of it, but the fact that was the
he didn't even bend his knee. It wasn't even like a Superman punch style phenomenal forearm like AJ does, but...
And I apologize if I'm giving Logan a little too much credit, but the fact that was his only blunder in the match, props to him.
Yeah. Want to talk about that frog splash?
We make our way to the outside of the ring, and Logan Paul starts clearing the announce table, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I immediately start getting WrestleMania 33 vibes. And that's exactly what Logan Paul does. He goes to the top rope, and he hits the cleanest frog splash, dare I say, I've ever seen. Soaring through the sky, and lands on The Miz, destroys the announce table, and dare I say, that was probably the second best spot of the night. And you already know what the best spot of the night was.
I can't wait to get to that. But
we'll get to that
he hits that frog splash, and the announce table is done pretty much throughout the... only on the second match of the card, the announce table is done. And it magically appears, like, re-put back together before the next match. Which is interesting when you really think about it before we get to the main event. So Logan brings Miz back into the ring and hits a skull-crushing finale, which is my favorite trope in wrestling, stealing finishers. And it's even better when you steal the other person's finisher and beat them with it. That's right. Logan Paul pins the Miz clean in the middle with his own finisher. And I'll be damned, 3.5 stars. It was great.
Yeah,
great match.
This match was excellent. I can't believe how much I enjoyed this match. And now you brought up a really good point. Where do we go from here? Logan Paul has signed a multi-year deal with WWE. Does that mean he's going to be wrestling every Raw? Probably not. No. I really hope he decides to do the house shows because he needs to learn his place.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Ronda Rousey did the house shows. A lot of other wrestlers, Brock Lesnar did the house shows. Hell, sometimes Brock Lesnar does the house shows to this day. Logan Paul needs to learn if he's going to be a pro wrestler, then he's going to be a fucking pro wrestler.
Oh, yeah, but there's no denying that he looked like he was having so much fun out there. Looks like this is a dream come true for him. And you know what? I'm props to him for following that. And, and he did a really good job with The Miz. And props to The Miz as well for carrying him to a really good... Miz didn't carry the match, but, I mean... Miz did a good job protecting him, making sure he didn't fuck up too bad.
Now, let me get this straight. Does this mean I'm going to go run off and buy the new Logan Paul shirt? Hell no.
No.
Does that mean I'm going to go
to his
YouTube channel and start buying his merch? Hell no.
Don't give this guy more money than he actually needs.
No. So. Do I like Logan Paul? No, I don't. But you know what? I'm going to give him some respect.
Yeah.
He earned my respect.
You gotta be objective sometimes, and you can't,
Yeah. I was prepared not to be. I went on Greg Morgan's podcast and I gave that man $5 just to tell him I will never acknowledge Logan Paul as a pro wrestler. I ate my words after this match.
There you go.
Ate him, served him up on a silver platter, and I ate every single word. So you know what? I think that's what Logan Paul's goal needs to be. Make people eat their words.
First Cody Rhodes making you eat your words with him making a WWE return and ending racism in the process, and now Logan Paul is making him eat his words. But
now, if Logan Paul sustains some sort of injury, let's just say I'm not going to be crying for the man. Just saying.
Big yikes. Big yikes. Okay, so speaking of unlikable heels, we have Austin Theory challenging Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title in a rematch from Money in the Bank. Theory. Yeah.
Fucking Theory.
Fucking Theory.
Fucking, that's what Vince McMahon was saying. We're going to bring on fucking Theory. He's gonna win all the championships, damn it.
I have a theory that he's not going to just have his last name for very long.
Fucking hell.
That's my Happy Corbin impression for the night. But here we go. This match went less than 5 minutes. I looked at Tomas and I was like, this match was super short. It was the shortest match easily on the card. Austin Theory,
in my opinion, I think it was exactly what it needed to be.
Theory got one move in, and it was before the bell. The Money in the Bank briefcase, which is typically a disqualification, but it was before the bell. And then Bobby Lashley was like, hell yeah, ring the bell. I'm okay. Let's do it. And then he proceeds to beat the shit out of this poor bloke. Up and down the ringside, he's chasing Theory, and there's a point where Austin Theory grabs his briefcase, and he's like, you know what? Deuces. I'm done. I don't care about the U.S. title anymore. I have a shiny briefcase.
Lashley immediately throws him back in. Running power slam, hurt lock. That's all she wrote. Lashley is the United States champion. He's a fucking monster, and this run needs to continue.
Austin Theory tapped out immediately, by the way. And Bobby Lashley...
There was no chance in hell he could beat Lashley.
No. And Lashley is super freaking over with these people, and he's doing like the fist bump with the crowd now along to his music, which is just such a bop, and it's so great. I hope this run continues. And with Triple H at the helm, with giving people what we want, I would love to see Hurt Business return and have the Hurt Business just come back as baby faces, but you know, only time will tell.
Possibilities are endless. 1.5 stars for effort.
Yeah, I would say 2 stars just because it was enjoyable to see Lashley, you know, throw this bloke around for a bit. But
and you know, and extra points for Lashley's badass entrance in this stadium.
Don't you love that entrance?
I do.
Can't wait to see that live when we go to Raw next month. But
oh boy,
okay,
let's talk about something you don't like.
Fuck.
Such a convoluted angle. Yes, I'm going to say it. This angle is absolutely extremely convoluted.
You don't
especially
say.
When you haven't watched half of the build-up. Here we go. It's the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic. By the way, happy 2-year anniversary to Dominic being in WWE. It was 2 years ago that he fought Seth Rollins in the Thunderdome in an excellent no-holds-barred match.
So good.
Mysterios,
such a hidden gem.
Rey and Dominic taking on, what's the opposite of new and improved?
The Judgment.
Nerfed.
How about Vince McMahon's sloppy seconds Judgment Day?
Yep.
Is that okay?
Judgment Day.
Okay. Let me just catch you up real quick.
Damian Priest.
Let me catch the viewers up real quick in case you haven't been with us for a while. So at Hell in a Cell, the Judgment Day with Edge as their leader defeated the team of AJ Styles, Liv Morgan, and Finn Balor. This is important. Finn Balor was the man pinned at Hell in a Cell. And then the next night on Raw, the Judgment Day comes out, Edge is on the mic, and he's teasing there's a new member of the Judgment Day. And out comes Finn Balor. He comes out, joins the group, shakes Edge's hand, and then Damian Priest says, now it's time to shed the dead weight, which is you, Edge. And then these guys beat the shit out of this guy. They kick Edge out of the group, they kick him to the curb, now they're all equals, which doesn't make a damn lick of sense. And you want to know why? It's because... This is all because Edge saw the group going in a direction that he did not like, and that was basically them punishing Edge for, you know.
Edge had the brainchild of having a really cool stable under his jurisdiction. He was going to take a bunch of guys they were doing nothing on the roster with and make it into something. And Edge disagreed what they want to do with his group, and they kicked him out of it.
Yeah. It's... And the crazy thing is, Finn Balor joined the group when he was the guy pinned the night before. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why they would want Finn Balor as their leader over Edge instead.
And the minute Edge was taken out of the group, the Judgment Day went from being a badass stable on Raw to fucking main event.
At least they still have Alter Bridge to their name.
So
good lord.
They start dicking around with the Mysterios. They start fucking with the Mysterios. Rey Mysterio has celebrated 20 years in the business with WWE.
You know,
I think that's pretty fucking awesome.
It is awesome, but number one, they're calling it 20 years while also acknowledging 2015 to 2018 for some reason when Rey was not with the promotion. But secondly, how dare Rey Mysterio celebrate his anniversary on Finn Balor's birthday?
Because it wasn't his anniversary. It was Finn Balor's birthday.
Exactly.
Crazy convoluted angle on Raw. where Ray is celebrating with his family and Rhea Ripley gets up in his daughter's face, and then the Judgment Day literally grabbed Ray by his fucking mask and dragged him down the hallway. Oh no, they grabbed Dominic.
They beat the hell out of him
down the hallway, and Balor beats the shit out of Ray, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this feud? So this is what it's come down to. Tag team grudge match with no disqualifications.
Oh God, was there no disqualifications? I couldn't tell. You know, because
I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah, so Tomas will know that I got really fucking upset with this match, and I was constantly screaming at the monitor because I'm just sitting there, and if a match is billed as no disqualification, I better see freaking tornado rules and just havoc all over the arena. Rhea Ripley should be getting involved at any possible notion. There should be no tagging. There should be no obeying the rules. So, first couple minutes pass by, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty fun. You got an Asai moonsault. You got some planches here. It's kind of chaotic right now. And then I see fucking Rey Mysterio get on the apron and grab the tag rope, and I'm like, no, you've been doing this too long. You've been doing this too long. There's no way you could be grabbing the tag rope right now. Damian Priest on the other side of the ring, the heel grabs the tag rope, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? This is a no disqualification match, and yet they're obeying the rules. And Rhea Ripley politely standing on the outside and watching all of this go on. And I'm like,
safe to say that this whole match, the momentum just died once they started treating it like a regular tag.
I had people on Twitter defending this, saying, well, the legal man has to get the pin. And I'm like, fuck off. It's no disqualification. It should not fucking matter.
Yeah, at this point, no. It didn't. And, you know, after looking back on it, the beginning of the match, this match went 11 minutes. The beginning of the match and the end of the match were fine, and then everything in the middle was just there.
It was just there, and the crowd knew it was kind of bullshit that they were tagging in and out because they were kind of quiet for most of the match. But then finally, Finn Balor grabs a steel chair, and some semblance of the stipulation comes into play. Finn Balor is attempting a coup de grace on Rey Mysterio with the steel chair assist. And then, all of a sudden, over the entrance, there's this gigantic staircase with a Cody Vader in there, and there's a bunch of flames just surrounding it. And up pops yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, apparently the reason why they gave it away, who it was going to be on the pre-show, is because they had to build this fucking thing during the match.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Absolutely. So, what happened is Finn Balor goes for the coup de grace. They look towards the stage, and up pops Edge from the Cody Vader, the Rated R Superstar. And Corey Graves says, something wicked this way comes, which is a great, great line there. Edge is rising up from the fires of hell, and he comes in and gets the Judgment Day. He's basically coming in to destroy what he created. He's going to kill what he created. And it's basically a lethal dose of poison in the Rated R Superstar, literally. He comes in, spears both Priest and Balor. Rey Mysterio hits a 619 on Finn with a really wonky-looking splash for a 3 count, and the Mysterios beat the Judgment Day the second time in a row. This time with interference. I mean, 2.5. I mean, the wrestlers worked hard. Damian Priest hit a beautiful chokeslam on Rey Mysterio south of heaven, which is a great move for him, but I was just very frustrated, as you'll know, Tomas.
Yeah, and my biggest gripe is just how the Judgment Day was such a cool concept, and now it's just gone down the shitter. You know what happens next? Edge starts feuding with the Judgment Day. He's probably going to take out Damian Priest. This probably ends at Clash of the Castle with Finn Balor. And then the Judgment Day will probably be no more. Yeah. Finn Balor will go back to jobbing. Who knows what they'll do with Priest? Maybe they'll split them up and send them to different shows.
Well, with the draft coming up. Hold on. Finn Balor won't go back to jobbing because it's Triple H in charge. He knows what he has in Finn Balor. So he's not going to do anything stupid like that.
It's going to take some time to rebuild these guys after they basically just took a giant shit on them again. With the draft coming up, you could send Priest over to SmackDown. You could send Balor over to SmackDown. I do think this group needs to be split up in the next coming months. Clean slate. It is what it is. It was a failed project.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Speaking of failed projects, you have Happy Corbin coming down to ringside. He's not a failed project. I'm just kidding. And then all of a sudden you hear this men's choir singing Bum-Ass Corbin atop the tunnel.
It's Happy Corbin versus Pat McAfee.
It is. Next. Yeah. I was getting to Pat McAfee. Yeah. So what we have here, Happy Corbin walking to the ring. This men's choir, which I thought at first were some of Pat McAfee's old football friends, were at the top of the tunnel just chanting Bum-Ass Corbin. But then I remembered football. Football players usually don't have those good of singing voices.
I was going to say, then they had angelic choir voices. Like, no, I think this is a Tennessee choir, which was confirmed it was them. Mm-hmm. Which apparently Solomonster's friend is in that choir.
Oh, no kidding.
He missed SummerSlam for a wedding. And all he had to say was, that's some shitty timing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. So yeah, Pat McAfee comes out to music that is not Seven Nation Army, which really disappoints me now. This was a fine little match. And you guys remember when I was talking earlier about Logan Paul? The more times he wrestles, the less we can grade him on a curve. Well, this is what I was talking about here. This was a fine little match. Pat McAfee isn't really going to blow you away anymore. He's not working with someone like Adam Cole. Happy Corbin is certainly not Adam Cole. I will say that much. But it's clear that these two really wanted to work with one another. So I'm glad they at least got this. The
build to this match was very good. McAfee's great at everything he's going to do. Corbin is a fantastic worker. He's a solid worker. He was a good second opponent. I'm going to say this right now. This match wasn't amazing. I still liked it more than the Theory match.
Yeah, because he didn't.
McAfee Theory at WrestleMania.
Because you didn't have to worry about the Vince McMahon bullshit on the outside. You could just worry about what was going on.
Not even that. I don't know why. I could not get into the Theory match. And this match was a little better. A lot of people are saying they're loving Michael Cole's new lease on life. He no longer has Vince McMahon in his ear, so he can kind of just be himself.
Oh my God, Michael Cole! I've given him a lot of shit on this podcast, and I'm about to eat my words. He was out of this world on SummerSlam, mainly because he did not have an old geriatric mind like Vince in his ear. And you know, we're just we're just off to the races. The commentators can just be excited fans and people.
Michael Cole, who has been commentating for over 20 years in the WWE now, does not need to be told what to say. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's fucking doing. Just let him do his thing. That's like telling JR what to say. That's like telling Tony Schiavone what to say. Cole knows what he's doing. Let him be. Because we don't know how much longer we're going to have Michael Cole on commentary. So let the man be.
So, I mean, it's a fine little match. Baron Corbin hits his deep six slam. But it's when they go to the outside that things really start to get interesting. He is just hammering on Pat McAfee towards the commentary table. And Michael Cole is so biased towards Pat McAfee because that's his boy. He's got to root for him, you know? Corbin pushes Michael Cole back into his seat and tells him to call the match. Don't get involved. He's hitting some big moves, and he's, of course, getting in Charles Robinson's face, screaming 3 at the top of his lungs. That's what it was. But, of course, it wasn't. So what happened next was Corbin goes for the end of days. Pat McAfee reverses it, and Baron Corbin bumps into Charles Robinson, who does not see Pat McAfee punt Happy Corbin in the nuts. So that's payback. Great. Absolute payback. That should be Pat McAfee's finisher, is a punt.
Punt to the nuts.
No, punt to the nuts. And then when he's a heel, you can have him do the Randy Orton style punt to the head again. But as a babyface, that's totally what it should be.
Talk about Logan Paul being a heel naturally. Pat McAfee's a natural babyface. Like I said.
Which is crazy because I thought he was such a good heel on NXT.
And Pat could trip over his own shoelaces and he'll still be over with the fans.
Which he totally did
tonight.
Yeah,
the universe was watching over Pat McAfee tonight.
You could tell he was nervous too. Like, there were a couple of times where he stumbles on the top rope, almost kills himself doing a swanton to the outside, and I was scared for this man's life. You know, it was, But he got through it. They got through the match. Pat McAfee hits his own version of a Panama Sunrise on Happy Corbin, which looks more like a Code Red almost.
Yeah,
and he
it was
pins
more like
him.
a springboard Code Red.
Yeah, and he pins him. Pins him clean in the middle. If I'm being generous, 3 stars. I mean, it's still a serviceable match. But it's
2 3/4.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was for a match that had better build than the Pat McAfee Austin Theory match at Mania, and for a more investing story with a lot more personal history. This was enjoyable. Certainly enjoyable.
I will say this match could have benefited with a little bit of overbooking.
Yes.
Some interference, maybe some football players showing up, a little bit more of that, but McAfee had another match he has another win under his belt.
Yeah.
Where does McAfee go from here? Obviously, right back to commentating, doing what he does best. Who knows? Who knows who his next opponent's going to be? We got some big shows coming up.
Maybe Pat McAfee shows up as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, a la 2012.
That's what I was thinking.
So,
because there's really nothing else for him to do right now. I don't know if there's any room for him at Clash. Unfortunately, we do have some Saudi Arabia shows coming up. He might do something there. Who knows? But I think Pat McAfee is doing fine for himself.
Yes, and speaking of the Clash, before you introduce this next match, I do have to point out, Drew McIntyre comes out to cut a promo to the crowd. And this is shortly after he became the #1 contender for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship in an incredible match with Sheamus on SmackDown. That should have been on this card. That would have made this pay-per-view so much better if the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match was actually on SummerSlam. But what can you do? It's the best SmackDown match of the year so far for me, and I highly recommend it to all of you. It was so damn fun. I liked it more than the Fastlane match that they had last year. But yeah, Drew McIntyre. Yes, and Tomas and I both loved that match. Drew McIntyre comes out and cuts a promo, basically hypes up Clash at the Castle, and he basically hypes up Roman versus Brock for the first time ever in Nashville in a last man standing match. And it's just
what's your name?
he got little Colt over in Nashville and with Colt's chants.
A lot of people were complaining, and same me. There were a lot of names left off this pay-per-view. No Kevin Owens, no AJ Styles, no Drew McIntyre, no Sheamus. A lot of names left off this pay-per-view. They incorporated McIntyre and Styles into the show, and I think in a way that kind of made up for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I would rather see Styles' involvement in the Logan Paul Miz match over him having some pointless match with no build.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And it was a really good promo. Drew McIntyre throws up Angela the sword, and the pyro goes off behind him. That's your #1 contender, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say Drew is the new Universal Champion at the Clash. It might be too early to say, but Drew never got his big moment in front of the stadium, so it might be his time, man. It might be.
One can only hope.
He's still over.
He's still over. 6 weeks until the Clash, so one can only hope.
We still have a bunch of time, so I might be jumping the gun a little bit there. But
speaking of big title matches coming up, we have the Usos, the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, defending both of their titles in a rematch against the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. And I have to say this right now, I knew this match wasn't going to be good as it wasn't Money in the Bank with this stipulation and this stipulation alone. This time they have a special guest referee.
So random.
Not a stipulation like a ladder match or a cage match or something that could really make a definitive winner. They have a special guest referee because special guest referees apparently can't fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who is their special guest referee? It's J-E
double F
J-A
double R E double T.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Jarrett.
Ain't it great? You know, he comes in, and here's I know a lot of people are confused as to why Jeff Jarrett was the choice here, and mad props to him. And again, he had a huge weekend working Ric Flair's last match the next night as a humongous heel. But here he is pretty much as the hometown hero. This is why he was the special guest referee. Jeff Jarrett resides in Nashville, so that's why he's here. He gets a nice little polite pop from the fans in the same referee shirt he was wearing over the last 3 weeks on television. I don't think
he ever hope you watched it.
I don't think he took that thing off, even when he was feuding with Ric Flair. I can look back at those videos and probably assume that he's wearing the referee shirt somewhere. But who really knows?
Big weekend for Jarrett. As we know, Jarrett has a comfortable position in WWE right now. He's in charge of booking all the house shows. He's on good terms with the WWE now, and here he is serving this big role. Again, Triple H working his magic. They were nice enough to lend Jeff Jarrett to Ric Flair's last match. So here he is, just, good for him.
Yeah. Good for him. He's making money. He's making money right now.
Over the past 10 years, he had a bad falling out with his own promotion in Impact Wrestling, kind of floundering on for a bit, had another wrestling promotion that went under the belt really quickly. And now here he is, just, working for WWE, making his paycheck there.
There you go. There you go. Being an ambassador. And I should also note that the challengers are accompanied to the ring by the Tennessee Titans cheerleaders, and the Profits are actually wearing Tennessee Titans colors here. And they have a custom logo that looks like the Titans logo with the flames and everything, same colors. Really, really clean. Really like what they're doing with their gear right now.
But unfortunately,
spoofing it off of the local sports teams.
Yeah, I knew this wasn't going to be good as the Money in the Bank match, and spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was a fine match.
Only about half the length of their Money in the Bank match, unbelievably.
And here's the thing. We compared this to FTR and the Briscoes. The FTR and the Briscoes had an excellent match as Supercard of Honor for the tag team titles. I feel like the Usos and the Street Profits went up them at Money in the Bank. But as FTR and the Briscoes got even better last weekend with their 45-minute classic, the Usos and the Street Profits, I feel like they regressed in this match.
Yeah, they sure did.
Not as many high spots, not as many big moments. Still some cool stuff, but I feel like they could have had this match on SmackDown and it would have had the same result.
You had some decent near falls thrown in there, but it just was not as exciting, and it didn't have the exciting crowd reaction that the Money in the Bank match did. I mean, they captured Lightning in a bottle 4 weeks ago, and now they're kind of just there on the card. Not really.
MVP of this match was Angelo Dawkins, a guy that everybody sleeps on. Everyone wants to talk about Montez Ford, and now he's bulked up. Look at Dawkins. He's lost a ton of weight. Don't sleep on Dawkins. Don't sleep on Dawkins. Hashtag don't sleep on Dawkins.
Absolutely.
He was doing some excellent planches. Him and Ford have this excellent double team move where Dawkins just tackles the opponent and Ford immediately catches him into a back suplex. Doesn't get enough credit.
So good.
The anointment into the cash out. Ford hurts his ribs on the cash out, and because of that, it's a near fall.
And
so
he
some
hits
fun storytelling in this match.
Hits the frog splash, can't really capitalize right away because he's selling the rib injury, which is, excellent storytelling from Tez. But then they hit they basically go, the Usos make their little super kick party. They hit the 1D on Dawkins and they retain. They pin the Profits clean in the middle.
Jarrett really didn't have any interference. I know he caught a super kick from Jay. And then he did get into a little squabble with Ford because Ford was really pissed that he didn't get the pin. And he was kind of blaming it on Jarrett. And people are saying we might start seeing the seeds planted for this eventual Street Profit split up.
Yeah. The seeds might start to be planted as soon as tonight on Monday Night Raw. Who knows, really? But 3.5. I mean, I went 4 3/4 the month before, but no, this was only half the length and wasn't nearly as exciting. And I wanted the Profits to win, but
how the fuck you go from 5 stars from me all the way down to 3 1/4?
Oh,
this is the tag team equivalent to John Cena and CM Punk having their 5-star clinic at Money in the Bank, all the way down to a 3.5-star match at SummerSlam the following month.
Which is still perfectly good. It's still a good match.
Fucking special guest ref. Special guest refs automatically make the match worse.
That's, kind of take some of the attention away, don't they? And Michael Cole did note on commentary, which, again, got to praise the commentary team here, but even though Jeff Jarrett did call the match right down the middle, didn't really factor into the finish much at all. He did catch a super kick, but that was it. He was basically the law of the jungle. And Michael Cole did point out that this is the first time that a special guest referee has overseen a major title match at SummerSlam since 1999. And that was the main event that was the main event right there. Jesse the Body overseeing the triple threat with Stone Cold, Triple H, and a third name that Tomas struggled to come up with. Yeah, no, I was like, wait, who? No, it's okay.
Like in 2012, when me and my friend were watching Big Show, Cena, and Punk, and he pointed out, the last time Big Show was in a triple threat match at SummerSlam, he won the WWF title. And I'm like, nope. Holy fucking shit, you're right.
That was a Survivor Series. It was a Survivor Series, but
he must have said yes. The last time Big Show was in a triple threat match for the world title, he ended up winning it, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit!"
That's right. Yeah, But wrestling trivia for you there should be. Anybody here interested in wrestling trivia nights? Let us know down in the comments. That'd be really fun.
Fun as shit.
Oh man. Oh, just you wait. I'm formulating some ideas here.
Yes.
But here we go. Before we get to the next match, we got to talk about an elephant in the room. We were supposed to have a show stealer between Matt Riddle and Seth freaking Rollins on this card, but Seth freaking Rollins hit a curb stomp on Matt Riddle on the Go Home Raw, and he suffered a brachial plexus injury, which is kayfabe, of course, writing Matt Riddle off the card. But Matt Riddle comes into the crowd, almost identical to Seth Rollins' run-in at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. Even though he's not cleared to compete, he still wants to call out Seth freaking Rollins, and he sure does. Seth
Riddle cut an excellent promo.
Yeah,
very out of character.
His best promo in a long time. He
said that you're not going to keep me off this pay-per-view. I want to fight Rollins. My best friend Randy Orton taught me to, never back down from a fight. So Rollins, get your ass down here so I can kick it. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see more of this.
I know a lot of people were speculating that Seth could have another mystery opponent here, but I feel like if you're disappointed, you shouldn't be mad at the WWE. You should be mad at your own expectations.
We did let our imaginations run wild.
The reason why Triple H took this match off the card is because he didn't feel like there was enough build for it. Which
is fair.
Yeah, he instead is going to put it on Clash at the Castle, and it's going to be one of the best wrestling matches on that show. And I'm really, really excited to see what happens. Seth Rollins.
This is what I meant by AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre just saying, like, would you just like to randomly see? I thought the match was random, to be perfectly honest. It was just an excuse to get Rollins and Riddle on the pay-per-view. But I did like this segment. Going back and watching it again, I think the segment worked out perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And Seth Rollins comes out with his signature drip, and he sprints down that aisleway with all the agents and the referees running behind him. It was just such a funny visual, which is going to lead to so many memes on Twitter, I'm sure. And I've already seen one that's hilarious with a caption reading, when Triple H becomes head of creative, this is what all the NXT call-ups look like.
Nice.
Sprinting down the aisleway to become a part of it.
Yeah, we did let our imaginations become Hulk Hogan for one night. We let them run wild. But I will say, just because we didn't get a jaw-dropping return here, guys, Triple H is in charge now. Who's to say we're not going to get one down the line? Yes. SummerSlam is not the only place where magic can happen.
The crowd was humming Seth Rollins' theme song, of course. He hits another curb stomp on Matt Riddle. Can't wait for their Clash match. Cannot wait. It's going to be a clinic. But up next, this match, not necessarily a clinic, but it's easily the match I was the most nervous for. Liv Morgan defending her SmackDown Women's title against Ronda Rousey in an official match, aside from the Money in the Bank cash-in from 4 weeks ago. I love Liv Morgan. It's well-deserved, her winning that SmackDown Women's title, and she is just in awe of being the champion. Her pictures on Twitter of her holding the belt, going to sleep with the belt and all that, and I'm sure I'm going to be fined $1,000 for every time I say belt on this podcast, but in any regard, her gimmick is like she's a lifelong fan who's so happy that she's the champion, which, it's not bad, but you've also got to build her up as a legitimate champion. And I was very concerned that Liv was just going to straight up lose this match to Ronda Rousey.
Because when you're the champion I don't like this trope. Champions going into match as the underdog. You know what word I don't like? Upset. Upsets don't exist to me. In my opinion, anybody can beat anybody. And if you're going to book someone as a loser, then why the hell am I going to cheer for them going into a big match?
Well, Jinder Mahal upset Randy Orton to become the WWE champion, so very wrong circumstances. People can win a wrestling match, but yeah, Liv Morgan, I mean, I was very concerned. If Vince McMahon were booking this show, again, I hate to keep going back to that, but Ronda Rousey would have won this match handily.
Yeah.
She would have
won the
floor with Liv Morgan.
Let's rewind to last year when Nikki ASH had the proverbial rocket strapped to her, and they snuffed her out. Mm-hmm. They snuffed her out before she even got a chance to shine.
God,
what is she doing? Jack shit.
She's in a team with Piper Niven, of course, because where else would you be? So Tomas can attest. The bell rings, and I'm just sitting there, and I feel like my heart's about to jump in my throat. I do not want Liv Morgan to win.
You felt like how I felt last year during Goldberg and Lashley.
During Goldberg and Drew McIntyre. I had a similar feeling during the Royal Rumble of 21. Because Ronda Rousey, it's clear that she is not a babyface, and she has lost a lot of passion for the business. You could just tell. It's good that she didn't miss her cue this time, unlike in Shrek 1, but she comes down. So unprofessional, right? So she's basically working over Liv Morgan's arm, softening it up for the armbar. She locks in the armbar, but her shoulders are down, and that's what the ref is focusing on. 1, 2, 3, but Liv Morgan was tapping out at the same time that he was counting 3. And he does not reverse the decision. Liv Morgan retains the title. I did not give a damn that it was a faulty finish, but Liv Morgan is holding on to that belt for a little while. Thank the Lord.
This was the only way to get her out of this match for the championship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only way. And this brings us to a very interesting point. So after the match, Rousey is very pissed. She's telling the referee that Morgan tapped out first. The referee is not going to reverse the decision. And then he takes his arm, flips him over. And the
judo throw.
I'm like, yeah. And the minute I saw that, I'm like, that's a suspension right there. And that's a perfectly good reason, in my opinion, to wipe Ronda Rousey off TV.
And sure enough,
suspension. Let Liv Morgan have a run. We may not see Ronda Rousey again into the Royal Rumble, in my opinion.
And sure enough, it has been revealed on Twitter that Ronda Rousey, per WWE, has been fined an undisclosed amount of money and suspended for an indefinite amount of time without pay for attacking Rudy Charles.
There's your word. There's your keyword, indefinitely, which means they're writing her off TV. Again, I don't think we're not going to see her for the rest of the year.
No, which is exactly what they should have been doing. Liv Morgan needs to hold on to that belt until day 1 at the earliest. If you want to build her up as a legitimate champion, you got to have her hold on to that thing for a while. Even if you bring back Charlotte Flair, have her beat Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair does not need to win. Liv Morgan needs to win. Yeah. So, it wasn't really much of a match. It was more of an angle to kind of establish that Ronda Rousey's being written off TV. I'll give it 2 stars for effort. It wasn't very long. Didn't really go more than 5 minutes, but
we also forgot to point out that the minute the agents hit the ring, I saw Sean Daivari. I'm like, ooh, Daivari, you're in there to take a bump, aren't you? And we saw a couple we saw Jamie Noble, and I'm just like, oh my God, these guys are in here to take some heat. They're going to take some fucking heat.
Man, Jamie Noble could have easily taken that bump for Ronda Rousey, but alas. Holy shit, Tomas. How do you describe this main event?
Here we go. So about a month ago, we had a Universal title match between Roman Reigns and Riddle. After Reigns retained the title, our worst nightmare came true and Brock Lesnar came back, and it was announced for the 8th fucking time, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in the main event of SummerSlam for the WWE Universal Championship. And this time it would be contested under last man standing rules.
Yeah, I fucking dreaded it. I fucking dreaded it because I was like, why? Why do we have to watch this match again? Why do we have to watch this stupid stipulation added to it? Like,
and on top of that, I did not like their match at WrestleMania.
No.
I thought it was among the worst.
The biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Yeah, Rock and Hogan has something to say about that.
A load of bullshit. A bunch of F5s and spears and Superman punches. Something we've seen 2 other WrestleManias before.
10 minutes.
And here we are again. And at this point, we are all asking ourselves the same questions. What the fuck are they going to do during this match that's going to be different from any other match?
Well,
I'll tell you what they did.
My word. Can I just say first, one word?
Tractor.
Yes. So Roman Reigns makes his entrance first with Paul Lee. He keeps the Usos in the locker room. And it was at this point where I get up, I get a bathroom break in, get some more chicken wings. I could have gone across the street and gotten a quarter pounder if I wanted to. And then when I came back, Roman Reigns still would have been making his fucking entrance.
You're not wrong.
This asshole took at least 15 minutes to walk down this aisle and get his pyro in, and then Brock Lesnar comes out all by himself, and then he goes towards the back, and there's a Brock Lesnar branded tractor sitting there by the tunnel. He drives this freaking, and this is a big wheel tractor too. He drives down the aisle, and he gets into the little bucket, whatever you call it, at the top of the tractor, the loader. And he stands up there and he introduces himself, and he's like, a big-ass country boy, Brock Lesnar. Chucks the microphone at Roman, who catches it perfectly, might I add.
And for the first time in history, Paul Heyman is speechless.
Especially when Brock jumps out of the loader.
I think Solid Monster said it best. The image of a flying Brock Lesnar coming at you has to be the most terrifying thing in the history of everything.
And Roman took it like a freaking champ, dude. No pun intended, but
I was hooked. I was hooked. From the minute that spot happened, I was hooked. They made their outside way to the ring. Lesnar goes to clothesline Reigns over the barricade, and he can't do it. So when Lesnar fucks up, he gets mad, and he dumps Reigns on his fucking head. Over the barricade.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Gonna be one of those fucking matches.
A fucking totally unsafe clothesline by Brock Lesnar, because, this is a guy who fought for real in the UFC for a while, so a lot of his stuff is gonna look stiff.
Up the stage, they make their way near an equipment area, and Lesnar rams Reigns into one of the support beams. And I was scared, because we already saw a tractor in this match. I was scared that whole thing was gonna come toppling down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my word. And, oh, my God, you want to talk about toppling? Do you want to just get right into it?
Oh, yeah.
Just get right into
Lesnar takes Reigns back to the ringside area. Lesnar tries to jump onto the barricade, and he slips.
Oh, yeah. Well, not after we get some tables into the mix. Brock is put through a table. Roman is F5'd through a table. And there's some fucking stiff spine busters through the remnants of the table. Like, my goodness. My goodness, these guys were going
hard. Someone was a little pissed that they fucked up their spots.
Otherwise known as someone else is pissed that his daddy Vince can't protect him anymore. But anyway.
Damn.
Well, I mean, this is the dude who walked out of SmackDown because Vince retired, and they got him back for this match, and my God, I'm glad they did, because somehow, some way, it looked like Brock Lesnar was having so much fun.
Yeah, they get back in the ring, and then they do the usual spots. They hit an F5, Reigns gets up, Reigns hits a spear, he gets up. There's Superman punches, there's Germans all over the place. But that's when Lesnar starts getting a little creative. And he puts Reigns in this loader. They're fighting on the aisleway, and Lesnar is able to get Reigns into the loader, and Lesnar drives the tractor up to the ring and just dumps Reigns like he's a bunch of trash.
While he's wearing the cowboy hat, mind you. Brock Lesnar doing some cowboy shit and looking like he's having such a great time. But that's not enough. That's not enough to put Roman Reigns down. You know, you have to wait for the near falls, which is obviously the con of every last man standing match. But Brock takes this tractor and he backs it up from the ring because I'm like, okay, Brock has some OCD like me, so he's just putting it in a safer spot. But no, Brock is taking this loader underneath the ring apron and he tips over the ring. He tips it over. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
I've been watching professional wrestling for 20 years now.
Yeah,
and I've never seen something like this before. He uproots the damn ring.
Oh my god, yes, that's a great way to describe it. He tips it over while Reigns is in the corner, and he falls from the...
I was getting flashbacks to when Brock Lesnar and The Big Show broke the ring in 2003.
Oh, but no. This is so much more fun.
That magnified because the referee fell too. And Reigns, I just that image. Look it up, everybody. It's all over Google now. Look up the image of Lesnar fucking uprooting the ring.
Oh yeah.
And Reigns just falling out of the ring.
Do you want to make the point? Do you want to make the joke now?
I mean, not really, because it's not going to make sense to everybody. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to say Titanic spoilers without context.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, no one's going to get that joke, so.
Well, I mean, if anybody's seen the movie, it's pretty much the same damn thing, same damn concepts. The boat tips over, and it's uprooted, so.
Never seen the damn ring like that before.
No, me neither. So, could you imagine? I'm also wondering if anybody was in the crowd for this, if anybody bought floor seats like $350 to, you know, sit at SummerSlam. Could you imagine sitting on the side of the ring that was uprooted and you couldn't see a damn thing that was going on for the last part of the match?
Well, there was a lot going on ringside at this point.
Yeah.
Heyman is absolutely beside himself. He's beside himself to the point where he goes up to Lesnar and says, you know what? You win. Here, take the titles. You've gone too far this time. You've gone too far. You know what? Damn right he went too far. He fucking uprooted the...
And to anybody who does not think that this is Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns' final match, I'm still not fully convinced, but damn, some good evidence is Paul E taking an F5 through an announce table. Because there's no way he wouldn't be taking that There's no way he would be taking that F5 if it wasn't their final match.
Heyman is not at the age or the physical well-being to be taking an F5 through the announce table, but you know what? He took that shit like a champ.
It was a decent looking F5 too. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, gave me some serious 2003 vibes when Paul Lee first turned on Brock. Like,
and then
so much great nostalgia.
Happens. The Usos get involved. They hit Lesnar with some super kicks. That's not enough to keep Lesnar down. Lesnar's going crazy. He is belly to bellying the Usos all over the place. Props to the Usos for taking those bumps. And then Reigns
throwing them right on their fucking head. Like, Jesus Christ.
Reigns hits Lesnar with the spear. They're both down. They both make it to their feet. And then the other inevitable happens, something we were all terrified of. Theory's music hits. Theory is running down the ramp.
I forgot about that.
The briefcase. And Theory looks like he's about ready to cash in. He clocks Reigns with the briefcase. And I'm like, holy shit, it's going to happen. But nope. Not if Lesnar has anything to say about it. He beats the ever-living fuck out of Theory. F5s him on the briefcase, takes that briefcase, and damn near beats this kid to death with it.
Mm-hmm. Sure does. Sure does.
Theory is no longer a factor in this match, thank God.
It was not a good night to be Austin Theory, that's for sure. And he did not cash in officially, so he still holds the contract. So only time will tell if he's successful with that or not. I honestly don't think he is. But again, it's still a little bit too early to tell. He has a whole year to cash in, and Brock is not. He's still not aware that they've got a full year to cash in. So Roman takes no. I got a year to cash in. So Roman takes one of the title belts, hits Brock in the head, tells the ref to count, and it of course takes him forever to count. And Michael Cole, fucking yes, he is speaking my language when he screams at the official to count faster because Brock is not staying down.
He gets up, he takes the WWE title shot to the head, he takes the Universal title shot to the head. Roman Reigns is beside himself at this point. He can't keep Reigns down. He nails Lesnar with the briefcase, which is still at ringside. And then him and the Usos just go crazy and start burying Lesnar under everything. Debris from the announce table, steel chairs, announcer chairs, absolutely everything. My friend made a really good point, and she said, Roman Reigns should have just taken Paul Heyman and put him on top of that debris too. That would have been hilarious.
I mean, he's still got to protect his special counsel in some ways, right? And he already knew that he took some punishment, so didn't want to hurt him any further. Had to protect him, man. But Roman Reigns
is the only way to keep Lesnar down.
Inevitably, Roman Reigns retains both belts, and he's going to go in and defend both the Universal and WWE Championships against Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle. That should be a great match. But I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. 4 stars. Yeah, I said it.
Hell, I'm giving 4.5.
Wow.
I had so much fun with this match.
It was
more fun than I ever should have had.
It was an extremely entertaining main event. I still have a little bit of bias towards the WrestleMania 31 match being their best just because of how damn physical it was. And also because I was there live. So, I have a little
to say, Triple H, hear us out. We don't want to see this match ever again.
No. I never need to see this match again, ever in my life. Like, keep these two as far away from each other as fucking humanly possible from this point forward.
There's rumors saying that Lesnar's never going to wrestle again now.
You know, if that's true, if he retires 20 years after he won his first Undisputed Championship from The Rock, which is insane to me, 20 years since Brock won his first title. But, I mean, Brock had a great run. Say what you want about his work ethic or what have you, or his passion for the business. He was so entertaining to watch.
Lesnar has nothing left to prove anymore.
No, he's done it all in this business. And he's provided me with a lot of great memories. So I hope he enjoys his time on the farm. So there you go.
Until we meet again, Lesnar. Time will tell if Lesnar will wrestle again, but he's definitely earned some rest. Apparently, he did say farewell to the crowd, which is another little indication that we might not see Lesnar for a while. He did stand on the turnbuckle of the slanted
somehow,
ring.
some way, stands on the edge of the ring that's all the way at the tippy top.
Yeah, and he waves goodbye to the crowd. You know, say what you want about this feud, but remember, it was a year ago at SummerSlam where Brock Lesnar made his return and confronted Roman Reigns.
Cowboy Brock.
Event of WrestleMania. So the fact that it's been a whole year and they had their battles and it ended with this war, the reign continued of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar can ride off into the sunset. 700 days as champion. 2 years ago, we were in the Thunderdome when Roman Reigns returned and wreaked havoc on The Fiend and Braun Strowman. 1 week later at Payback, he won the Universal Championship.
2 men who are not with the company at the time of recording, but with Triple H under the helm, that could soon change. And
they never looked back with Roman Reigns. 2 fucking years later, and he's still the champion.
Historic. Absolutely historic. Does it come to an end at Clash at the Castle? In my mind, yes. My mind wants me to think that Drew McIntyre is the guy, and I've always thought Drew McIntyre was going to be the guy. But I mean, if it's not Drew McIntyre, then who is it? Like, who stops it? You know, like at this
point, that's what I'm thinking at this point.
It's anybody's guess, but it's going to be a clinic at the Clash, and it's going to be very, very fun to talk about that with you guys. SummerSlam 2022, man, one of the strongest pay-per-views of the year. I'm giving it a solid 8. Which is what I gave WrestleMania. I think the in-ring work definitely could have been stronger throughout the card. I think if you include the Donnybrook match on this card, it's easily the best pay-per-view of the year, bar none. But
I had a lot of fun with the show. There were some really great moments and some really good wrestling that surprised me. Still not the strongest show in my opinion. I think I'm more comfortable giving it a 7.5. But this is still definitely worth checking out. You know, there were some hit and misses on the show. Really good opener, a Logan Paul match that I never thought would be as good as I thought it would be. Lashley, in theory, was just there. Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. I mean, kind of lackluster in my opinion. McAfee and Corbin was kind of just there. a very overbooked and convoluted tag team grudge match, and a tag team title match that should have been better.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying there, but I feel like for Triple H's first show as head of creative, his first pay-per-view, so to speak, he passed with flying colors. And to think that this is only the beginning. We got Clash at the Castle coming out in a month. Can't wait to talk about that with you guys. It's the same weekend as AEW's All Out, which is going to be a humongous competition. It's a good time to be a fan, guys. It's an exciting time to be a fan. But
but for the time being, there are no pay-per-views in August. WWE has nothing coming up. AEW has nothing coming up except for some TV specials. So what the hell are we going to do, guys? No pay-per-views this month.
Yep, so stay tuned. If you want us to talk about AEW Quake by the Lake with an AEW World Title match with Jon Moxley against either Chris Jericho or fellow BCC member Wheeler Yuta, let us know down in the comment section below if you want us to talk about that. We do have WrestleMania 20 to continue our 2004 retrospective. I have put up a poll on Twitter because even though SummerSlam is done this year, we're going to talk about some retro SummerSlam on the podcast. So we do have a Twitter poll up. Let us know.
August is SummerSlam month. WWE, don't do this again. Please bring it back to August next year.
We'll see. We'll see again. Only time will tell with Nick Khan in charge of the business aspect. But yeah, so you got SummerSlam 92, 94, 97, and 98 to choose from. Those four, let us know which one you want down in the comments. I also have the poll up on Twitter. Lots of great SummerSlam memories to choose from there. And then, of course, September opens up with that big weekend with Clash at the Castle on Saturday, All Out on Sunday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, Tomas. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to both shows and looking forward to see what Triple H is going to do with Raw and SmackDown this coming month. I guess it's a little blessing in disguise. Triple H has time to, book some TV, build a good Clash of the Castle card. Clash of the Castle card, say that 5 times fast. And, just kind of experiment with some talent. He has a good 6 weeks into the show. I'm looking forward to seeing what good old Triple H has in store for us. It's time to play the game indeed.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast, guys. But hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that notification bell. Hit that thumbs up as well. Share this with your friends. It's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun ride, I can tell, into the end of the year. But commence that back talk. See you guys next time.